Hey y'all, how you perking? I hope you're perking good. So, this is a weird video for me, a different video for me. Mental health stuff. Let's talk a little bit about it. Have y'all ever been out somewhere and you just get some thoughts that just come to your mind and you're like, you know what? Blah, 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 da, 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 da. You're having this entire conversation in your own damn head, and then you realize, maybe I should start writing some of this down. Because same. Look at this. This is a napkin. As in, like, literally a shitty little napkin from a restaurant or something. And I just started writing down things. I just started getting stuff out of my head and onto paper. Napkins because I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do a video on this. Why not? Welcome to a video that's different than my usual. So I like to tell people I am a licensed mental health clinician as well as a spiritual intuitive, and in these videos we usually take a look at the tea with the tarot, but this time we're gonna talk about experience, mental health, crap like that. When it comes to mental health related topics, I have both personal and professional experience. And so I want to lay some things out here, just put some stuff on the table, just talk about it with you a little bit informally, you know, not somebody that's like, I'm coming at you as the licensed mental health clinician and I'm going to lecture to you right now. Nah. Let's just hang out and talk real for a little bit. Okay? Cool? We're down? All right. First, before we do that, I want to give a shout out. Thank you for these things. Y'all are sending things to my P.O. box, and it's very kind. This shirt, this necklace, which, by the way, this necklace is the phase of the moon on the day that I was born, like the literal month, day, and year of my birth, and this moon glows in the dark. So thank y'all. Y'all have such kind gifts. Whenever I opened up a P.O. box, it's in the description, I thought people were going to write me letters, and I was going to be like, oh, I have all these pen pals. This is sweet. But y'all have sent me things, and that's sweet too. And I'm just beside myself. So thank you for making this Christmas already really great. Also, let me just go ahead and say shout out to Caitlin H. for putting timestamps in my live stream video for the little mini readings that we did. Definitely MVP moderator, Caitlin H is MVP. And also thank you to Maria Rose 1. Shout out to you for your shout out of me. Does that make sense? Maria Rose shouted me out on someone's channel, and it helped my channel, and I was like, wow, y'all people are very kind. Y'all are so nice. I'd like, so shout out to you for your shout out of me. That's crazy. Anywho, down here, subscribe if you haven't already, and make sure you're still subscribed if you thought you were. Then also, here's the notification bell. This is what it'll look like if you think you're gonna get any kind of notifications from YouTube, but you may not, so keep checking back. Join the channel. You can join with that button right there below, or you can join with the link in the description. You get access to all kinds of perks in the Perk Squad, and one of which is the shout outs, like what we just did. Woohoo. Okay, let's get into it. So, looking at my notes here, one thing that I have noticed big time is, and this is a good thing, over the last handful of years, mental health awareness is kind of at an all-time high. People are talking about it. People are becoming aware of it. People are promoting awareness and prevention and treatment and all of that good stuff. Awesome, awesome, awesome. People are advocating for mental health, and that is a beautiful thing. What's not so beautiful, and I think that this is a part of it, and it's a bit insidious, it kind of creeps in there and people don't notice is a lot of times people are not as big mental health advocates as they think they are. And this is not to bash anybody. This is not to single anybody out, but I just want to bring this up as a conversation right now. Let's talk about it, okay? Let's talk about this. I don't hear this being talked about much. So there's a lot of people that say, yes, absolutely, I'm an advocate. You know, I share the suicide hotline whenever a post comes up on social media that says, you could help somebody by sharing this link. And they're like, and I, wear a ribbon for Mental Health Awareness Day or month or whatever. And, I tell people, try to be kind, and you don't know what people are going through. And mental health, yes, I'm an advocate. All those things are great, and people are doing that. Cool, you're contributing. That's awesome. Not taking that away from anybody. But have you ever noticed, and I'm writing this down because this is what, I was people watching. Have you ever noticed if you are walking out on the street and you see a homeless person acting kind of weird out on the street? Some people might laugh and mimic them and make fun of them. Some people might look at them like, oh, that's so gross. And, and have those literal feelings of disgust. Now, as we're talking about this, let's get honest with ourselves. Sometimes people feel those things, even if later they might feel like, oh, I feel guilty for doing that or thinking that or feeling that. It comes up, It's an initial response. And what is that? That's stigma. That's stigma. And it's coming up. Stigma is based in shame. And it's coming up for us. And, let's say there's a celebrity. And this celebrity is struggling with substance use issues. A lot of times you'll hear people say, or we might say ourselves like, oh, woe is me. I had such a hard life being a multi-millionaire celebrity that everyone loves. And, I have to use substances to cope with such a millionaire, wonderful life. Woe is me. And we might say things like that. Because we're like, psh, get over yourself. You're not a real person with real problems. Boom, there we go again. Stigma. Shame. Are we being mental health advocates in that moment? There's other times where, let's say a YouTuber doesn't upload for days or weeks or even months at a time. And we get angry because there's no content there. And we start to judge them. And we make assumptions as to why they're not making videos. And they only make videos for this or when this or blah, 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 blah. Are we being mental health advocates then? In case that YouTuber might be not creating videos because they're dealing with some pretty heavy mental health challenges? How about you're at work or around family or around friends or something like that, and somebody has this big outburst of anger. They're like, they get blah, 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 and they get all snappy at you and angry at you, and you're like, who pissed in your fucking cornflakes, and you hold a grudge against them, and you don't trust them anymore, and you're whatever. You're like, oh, this person did this. Well, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to give them the silent treatment, or I'm going to blah, 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 back to them. What if that anger outburst was because of a mental health issue that they're working on? So I know this is all very oversimplified, what I'm saying right now. I know that. Like I said, I wanted this to be an informal thing where we're just kind of talking. We're having a conversation together. We're bringing things up candidly. We're being frank. I get that this is a little bit of a reductionistic way of looking at it. But one thing that I think is important for us to remember is when we're advocating for mental health promotion and prevention and treatment and awareness and all of this stuff all the time, it's like sometimes we're just thinking of it as mental health means you're really worried all the time, or you're shy at social events, or you're sad. And that's what people think of when they think of mental illness or mental problems, challenges, things of that nature. And it's like, It's more than that. Those are things that can be symptoms of people who are having issues with their mental health, but it can also look like people being angry. It can look like people being flaky and undependable. It can look like people avoiding important conversations, or avoiding being around you, or things like that. It can look like people being confused, or people acting awkward or weird. It can look like those kinds of things. And what's interesting about all of this to me is it can look like people who are either doing bad behavior, having bad behavior, or it can look like people being awkward weirdos. And so because of that, it's really easy for us to judge those people, make assumptions about those people, mock those people, laugh at those people, and things like that. But then at the same time, we're going to go on Twitter and be like, mental health awareness, mental health promotion. You have to think about that. It's when you do those things, that doesn't connect. It doesn't connect. And I'm sure you've seen people do that. You may have done it yourself. We're human. We're fallible. Sometimes we don't connect two and two. That us feeling like, yeah, it's important for people to get help when they are struggling with stuff. Yeah. And sometimes we don't connect that with, oh my God, this woman over here was being a rude ass fuck to me. She was being a bitch and blah, 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 blah. And we don't connect that as that same person you're shit talking right now is one of those people that you were trying to advocate for a second ago on Facebook. But you were advocating for those people on Facebook a second ago, but now this bitch in Kohl's or this bitch in Kroger or wherever, whatever stores, it's like, you see what I'm getting at here. We don't put two and two together sometimes. We don't connect the dots sometimes. And so having compassion, having empathy, these are important things for us to have. Oh man. It's just so bizarre to me, because I've just been seeing a lot of this lately. So I wanted to talk about it. I've just been observing. I'm not calling anybody out or saying that this is about any certain person or any certain situation, but I have seen a lot of this lately. And so it was on the forefront of my mind, and that's why I wrote it down here to talk with y'all about it and get your thoughts on it, get your weigh in on it. Sometimes we talk about mental health and we're just kind of glorifying it using these memes of these beautiful black and white pictures of a woman looking down picturesque with a single tear going down her cheek, and then there's some inspirational post linked to it or something like that, and we're like glamorizing and glorifying this sadness in a way that's like so poetic, maybe even, but then we encounter somebody and they do something that we take personally, and all of a sudden, we're gonna shit talk them, when that's the real mental illness, not this beautiful artistic thing. That was the real mental illness. And that we weren't okay with. It's like we're okay with the idea of raising awareness for mental health and mental illness as long as it doesn't feel ugly and bad in our experience to us. Because as soon as it starts affecting us, with somebody else's mental problems start affecting us, then we're not okay with it, and then this person needs to blah, 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 blah. You see how that doesn't add up? So we have to really take a look at this. Are we actually being mental health advocates? Are we actually understanding what we're advocating for, and what that means, and what that entails, and what that calls us to do? Before I cut this off, I do want to add in here, it's true that people who struggle with mental health challenges sometimes do things that would be considered bad behavior. Sometimes people who are struggling with substance use issues steal. Sometimes people who are struggling with, let's say, social anxiety lie to get out of having to go somewhere in front of a big event. You know, people do, quote unquote, bad things, if we're going to have to add some sort of value or judgment statement to it, spawning out of their mental health challenges. And I'm not excusing poor behavior or poor decisions or things like that. But what I'm saying is, for the people who are struggling and going through these things, it is not your fault that you have these mental health challenges, issues, illnesses, things like that. It is not your fault. It is, however, your responsibility to do something about it. And by that, I mean, it's your responsibility to look into things that can support you on your journey to feeling better, and to support you on your journey to becoming healthier, if that's a goal of yours. Things like talking to a doctor or a counselor. So it isn't your fault. And I'm not going to victim shame, victim blame, victim guilt, anything like that. And at the same time, it is our responsibility to take control of the things that we know are happening within us and look for ways to help ourselves. You know, find some resources, find some trusted individuals to speak with, especially professionals, and just, you know, so you can get healthy, so you can feel better, for crying out loud. No one wants to struggle with this. No one chooses to struggle with this. We want to feel better. We want to get healthy, and it's our responsibility to take that on. For me, for example, sometimes I have trouble filming videos. I have trouble all the time, actually. If you lived in this household, or if you were one of the few people that I, let in deep enough to talk all these things out to, you would know that sometimes anxiety will get the best of me and I won't make a video because I'll be so worried that I'm gonna get something wrong, and the joke's gonna be on me and everybody's gonna come and send me hate, and I'm gonna be so embarrassed, kind of thing. Sometimes I don't make videos because depression gets in my way, and I sit there and I think, why would I even bother? Because I'm not good at any of this, and there's no hope that I'm ever gonna be someone one day on here on YouTube and all of that. Why bother? Nobody cares. People are only watching these certain videos that I make, and they don't even watch things like this one that I'm making now, so why bother? And my depression will tell me that. And then other times I won't film things like vlogs, because I'm like, oh no, I have trichotillomania, where I pull out my hair. I've been doing it since I was 8 months old. And because of that, I have to have short haircuts to hide how thin my hair is. And if I do vlogs and y'all see me walking around and you see my head from all different angles, you're going to see my bald spots. And, I can't make videos with that. And so I get that, I get the realness. This is what mental health struggles look like. So when someone's not posting a video, or when someone is acting a certain way, or, these things, it could be because of that. May not always be, but it could be because of that. And that's where compassion and empathy come in. And so for myself, I do get help. Counselors need counselors sometimes, Everybody could benefit from therapy, honestly. I've always believed that. And, I get help because, one, I want to feel better. And then two, because I want to be better for the people around me that I know I affect. I know that when my mental health struggles are really, really, really on fire, I don't treat people in my life as well as I would want to treat those people. I might snap at them. I might yell at them. I might do and say things that I'm not proud of. I might be, hit or miss with making videos here on YouTube. I might not post on Twitter for days or weeks. I might, all kinds of things. And I don't want to be that way. So I get help for myself, and I get help for the people around me that I care about, and I know how I impact them, and I want to ease that as well. So I'm doing it for a lot of reasons. And those are things that are all a part of supporting mental health awareness and prevention and treatment and all of that jazz. It's a lot. This is a big topic. I'm sure a lot of you are going to share some things below, things that you've seen, some of your experiences. I'd like to know if any of you in the comments, if any of you in the comments feel brave enough to share, if you have ever found yourself in a position like this where you were saying, I'm an advocate, I support this, woohoo, but then your actions didn't quite line up with that. Have you ever noticed that about yourself, or have you ever seen that happening? And it's okay to be honest. I really encourage everyone in the comments to be kind to each other, be kind to me, be kind to people that you may be speaking about that aren't here to say their side or defend themselves or things like that. I'm asking all of you that if we're going to be open and share and talk as a community, that we be a supportive community in that and kind of practice what we preach. So let's do that. Also, just in case it is helpful, because I know that we talked about some stuff today that might bring up some things for some people, there will be some links in the description box about how you can access help for yourself, or if there's someone else that you're wondering, how can I help them? What can I do? I'll have a link there in the description for that as well. Just to give people a little bit more resources to know what to work with. So anyway, this is a very different video from my usual, but as you know, by the business name that I'm associated with, BeasTalksAndTarot, where do you think the talks part came from? BeasTalksAndTarot. I actually used to do a lot more talks than tarot videos way back in the day on another platform in my past life. So yeah, I just leave your feedback below, and thank y'all for giving me the time to talk about something like this today. Just wanted to share, just wanted to be real, just wanted to talk with y'all, hang out with y'all for a second. Yeah, I think we'll leave it at that. Subscribe, join the Perk Squad, and then also you can look in the description box if you want to know anything else, like my services that I offer, my merch, or if you want to look at my P.O. box, or what is this music, or anything else. Just go check it out in the description box below. So anyway, don't be a stranger. Come back and see me, and I will talk at you later. Love you, mean it. Bye, y'all.